If you found yourself appointed as the executor of a will, there are a number of duties that you'll be required to carry out in relation to the estate. This video outlines some of these duties to give you some clarity around the role and what's expected of you as the executor of an estate. The executor of a will is the person named to carry out the wishes of the deceased after they've passed. First of all, it's important to know that even if you are named as an executor, you are under no obligation to accept the responsibility. Instead, duties can be delegated to another named executor in the will, or if no other executor is named, you can apply to the court to appoint an administrator. If you do choose to accept the role, the following advice may be of use to you. In order to administer the estate successfully, there are a number of duties that you assume responsibility for. You may be responsible for organising the funeral and burial or cremation of the deceased, as well as other tasks that are directly related to the will and distribution of assets, such as notifying all beneficiaries named in the will, managing the property or goods left in the will. For example, taking care of business interests, safeguarding income, investing money that is not needed immediately, collecting valuables and insuring property, valuing the estate and keeping a list of the valuations, providing the court with an inventory of the estate's assets, which includes cash, business interests, personal effects, securities, real estate, sale of property, as well as debts due and debts owing, obtaining authority to administer the estate, applying for a grant of probate, taking all necessary steps to distribute the estate according to the wishes of the deceased as written in the will. This list can seem overwhelming. However, if you take the following step-by-step process, your role as the executor will be more manageable. The first step in executing the estate is to obtain the death certificate. As executor of the estate, you're responsible for funeral and burial arrangements, and costs of such will be paid out of the estate. The first question a funeral home will ask is how many copies of the death certificate you require. Many experts suggest ordering twice as many as you think you will need. This is because you'll need copies of the death certificate, for example, when notifying financial accounts, life insurance, and if filing for a final tax return. The next step is to locate the will. The person who informed you that you're the executor is likely to know the location of it. You'll need the original will for probate, and also so you know who the beneficiaries are that need to be informed. It's at this point now that we suggest you seek legal advice. Once you have the will, you'll have an idea of how complicated the process of administering the estate will be. To avoid any mistakes, it's best to contact a lawyer who will advise on the legal steps to take. All costs are paid for from the estate. Seeking legal advice is especially important if you find out that someone wants to contest the will. Your legal representative will most likely ask how much the estate is worth, so the next step is to locate and protect the assets. This includes providing documentation on insurance, investment accounts, bank accounts, and property. All of this information is needed for preparing probate documents. It's also your responsibility to pay the deceased debts with money that will come out of the estate. The bank will assist in opening an account in the name of the estate or trust if required, so that you can pay bills and accept deposits. Remember that administering an estate can be a lengthy process that can take months or even years from the time of death to the distribution of assets. This can be even longer if there has been a will contest. Executing a will can be complicated, which is why it's always a good idea to get advice from a lawyer. The deceased's estate will cover reasonable fees charged for this. If you've recently found out that you're an executor of an estate or simply want some extra information, do not hesitate to contact the team at Hentys Lawyers today.